Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? It is currently 4:32 p.m. It's early today. And it is really hot outside. It is like close to 100 degrees. And I was going to film outside, but I thought I'm going to bring little Boo Radley upstairs into bed. Where's he at? Hold on a second. Oh, I just did something to the camera. I don't know what I did. But Radley, I'm trying to show you. There he is. Hi, boobs. He said, I'm just going to lay down right over here. Anyway, I was going to film outside, but it's like so hot. So I thought, I'm going to bring Boo Radley upstairs to the bedroom. And he was downstairs in his house eating his dinner. And I'm going to sit up here and vlog for a little bit. And then I'm going to start listening to, well, I started listening to the audiobook, well, the book for Peter's Book Club last night, Low Country Boil. And, did I listen to, no, this morning, I started, my time is getting all mixed up. Yeah, I finished The Horrors of Fox Hollow Farms this morning, and I started listening to, there's like dust or something on my shirt, and I started listening to Low Country Boil. I'm not that far into it, just a couple minutes, but I'm going to listen to some of that tonight. And I had an appointment tomorrow. What are you doing, bud? I had an appointment tomorrow that I was going to have to go to bed early for tonight, but the appointment got rescheduled to next week, so I don't have to go to bed early tonight. And but I don't know what I'm going to do for dinner. So before I get into all of that, my plans for the future, that's what I'm going to call this video, Plans for the Future. What a good title for a vlog, right? I usually take like one little sentence or like 3 words that I say during a vlog, and I turn that into the title. When people are like, where did you come up with the title for this video? You titled the video Conspiracy Theories. Is the whole video about conspiracy theories? Well, we can make a whole video about conspiracy theories. I have lots of them. Did you guys hear that? I just saw clips of it. I don't really understand it. But apparently they had some government hearing or something on aliens today. Did you guys see this? This news coverage? My lord, where they're talking about how they have UFOs and pilots of the UFOs and things like that. Apparently. Very bizarre. Anyway, I'm going to look more into it later tonight. So last night, I was not happy. Got done vlogging. Alex was relaxing. I don't even remember when I vlogged last night. When did I vlog? It doesn't matter. But anyway, I was waiting for my DoorDash to come. My DoorDash came. I was really hungry last night. I think somebody commented on the video and said, you didn't let us know what happened with the DoorDash. Well, I'm going to let you know what happened with the DoorDash. I actually did an entire review of it today over on my review channel, my experience with customer service. So, my food came. My pasta had tons of bacon on it. And I know there were people out there that are like, why didn't you just take the bacon off? Because it was like mixed into the pasta. There was no way that I could do it. Plus, even if there's like meat on food, I don't just take the meat off of it and eat the food. I'm just like very careful about stuff like that. And then I had a pepperoni stick instead of a Parmesan stick. So all I had was my sandwich. Alex felt so bad. He's like, do you want me to go out and get you something? I was like, no, babe, it's okay. Because he had already been like, we were getting ready to watch The Real Housewives of Orange County. We actually got caught up last night. We watched last week's episode, and then we watched the episode from last night. I feel like it's the only franchise right now of the Housewives that's any good. Let me put this up here a little bit. I feel like it's the only franchise right now that has like any like real drama to it whatsoever that's interesting to watch. The other ones I'm kind of bored of. Atlanta, I'm kind of bored of. Well, New York, that's not true. New York, the new season of the new cast of New York, I really like. But Atlanta, I'm kind of bored of. There's like another one that's coming out too. Oh, Miami, I think, started last night. I haven't watched like all the seasons of Miami. I've watched like a couple of them. And I watched some reunions of the seasons I haven't watched. Alex has watched all of them. He loves Miami. So I don't know. I think I'm going to watch this season of it, though. Like, Alex and I watch a lot of the Housewives together, so I'll probably watch this season of it. But my food came, and it had bacon on the pasta, and then it was a pepperoni stick instead of a Parmesan stick. I was real disappointed because I was so hungry. Alex had been making little pizzas and mozzarella sticks and stuff in the air fryer. And, like, because we were getting ready to watch the show, because my food came, and I said, babe, I just left it in the bag. I didn't even, like, you know, I like, took my sandwich, I put it in the refrigerator, and I said, start making your food so we can watch the show. And I said, I'm just going to leave my food out here. And he was like, okay, do you want me to get it ready for you? And I was like, no. I was, like, uploading my vlog and getting it ready and stuff like that, I think. I was doing something on the computer. So he was like, are you sure you don't want me to get your food ready? And I was like, no, I'm good. So when his food was almost done, I went into the kitchen because I usually microwave my pasta for like another 30 seconds, like a minute and 45 seconds in there sometime. And, or in that time frame. And, I opened it and it had all this bacon on it. I was like, And he was like, do you want me to run and get you something, babe? I'm sorry. And I was like, no. I mean, I felt bad because his food was already made. And I wanted him to be able to eat it because he had, like, worked a really long day. So I was like, I will just figure out something here to eat. So I ate my sandwich and had some other stuff around the house. But I was so hungry. I was so disappointed. But during that time, Alex was like, I think you should complain to DoorDash. They'll give you, like, a full refund. And I was like, do you think they will? And he was like, yeah. Needless to say, you can go watch my review video. I showed pretty much the whole... I didn't show the whole conversation, but I talked about it. I, like, had to start this chat with this person, you know, those, like, online chat discussion things with this person, and they really couldn't refund. They even went to their team leader and couldn't refund me more than $10 when my meal was $35 minus the sandwich, and it came to like $22 or something like that with like all this kind of stuff. And I was really frustrated with it. So anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I did this video and people were like, well, Uber Eats isn't any better. And some people were saying that Grubhub is better. So I think I'm going to use the credits from DoorDash, and fingers crossed that DoorDash gets it correct tonight. I am going to call the restaurant, though, because a lot of people were like, well, it's really on the restaurant, which I agree. Like, the food not being correct is not on DoorDash, but I did order it through DoorDash. So, I mean, I paid through DoorDash. I don't, you know, they must pay the restaurant, but they can work on getting their reimbursement from the restaurant. I ordered it through DoorDash, not from Piata. But I am going to call the restaurant after I make my order to make sure that it's correct tonight. Because this has happened enough now, and I don't ever complain. I don't like to complain about stuff like that. Oh, by the way, since somebody asked me this in my vlog yesterday, and or maybe the day before, the pants, all the pants that I bought, because I did a video about this on my Peter Does Stuff channel, the 2 pairs of corduroy pants that I bought, and like the 3 pairs of jeans, none of them fit. I guess I've lost more weight again than I thought I had. The 2 pairs of corduroy pants that I bought are extra large. The length is perfect on them, but they're really loose. Like, even with a belt, they would be really loose. And so I guess I need a large in them. So I'm going to have to send those back because they were expensive. And then the 3 pairs of jeans are 36 waist. So I guess I need a 34 waist, which is crazy to me that I've lost enough weight that I'm down to a 34 when I was like a 38 or 40. So I'm going to have to send those back as well. I hate sending stuff back. Alex sends stuff back all the time, so he can help me get it together and get it ready, but because he knows how to do all that kind of stuff. But so I'm going to have to send that stuff back because I'm not going to just waste all that money. I spent like... The jeans were each like $60 or something like that, or $49, and then the 2 pairs of pants were like $85 each. That's like $400 and something. I'm not going to just lose that, you know, obviously. And I really want the pants and the jeans. I just want them in the right size. I can't believe I'm down to a size 34 in a waist. I mean, I put these jeans on, like all 3 pairs, and they were like, oh, maybe I just tried on 2. I think I just tried on 2 of them, but the 3rd pair was like even, like you could tell from the waist was bigger than the other 2. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, even with a belt, they're like still pretty baggy. So, I mean, I could, like, they were, anyway. I mean, I'm glad that I've lost the weight, don't get me wrong, but I need pants for the fall. So, yeah, I hadn't weighed myself in a while, so I've lost more weight, which is good. I mean, my doctors want me to keep on losing weight. I have my coffee right here. We have like this little bench that Alex ordered. I think he got it from like Amazon or Wayfair or something like that. I wasn't real excited about it when he got it. He was like, no, I want one of those benches for the end of our bed, like you see in TV shows and stuff. And I was like, we don't really need it. And I was really worried because like I didn't think the dogs, this was back when like, I don't know if he got it after PP passed away or before, but I was like worried that like Tucker and Boo wouldn't be able to jump up on here. But like Boo uses it to like jump up on, so it's easier for him. And Tucker did too, but Tucker never, he might have towards the end, but I don't remember him really having a lot of problems getting on the bed. Boo did for a while, but Boo's fine now. He just like runs up the stairs and jumps right on the bed. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to have to send those pants back because I'm not going to lose that money on them. I actually need to do that tonight, get on the websites and see how to return stuff. I'm sure I have like 30 days to return it. I've had them for like a week, so still within time. Then maybe I can take those to the post office this weekend maybe, or when Caroline comes to pick me up next, and I think she's coming next Wednesday. Oh, she wanted to do a pool day next Wednesday, and I think I have a hair appointment, like in the late afternoon. I'm gonna have to see if I can change that hair appointment. If I can't change that hair appointment, the time of it, I'm gonna have to see if, well, I don't even know what the weather's supposed to be like next Wednesday. It might not even be pool weather, so. Anyway, or maybe we can just go to the pool from like 4 to 5 or something like that. We'll see. So last night, I ate my little dinner, and Alex had his air fried dinner, and we watched Real Housewives of Orange County from last week and Real Housewives of Orange County from last night. Both of the episodes were really, really good. And then Alex watched Watch What Happens Live, and I talked on the phone to Tanya Jean, and I was getting so tired. I was like so tired yesterday. I feel like the heat just kind of takes it out of me a little bit. So I was like, I'm going to go lay down for a little bit. And Alex and I brought Boo Radley up here. And I kept on shouting down. I was like, Boo Radley's not happy that you're not up here. And he goes, I've got 5 more minutes of the show, then I'm going to be upstairs. I'm going to go to sleep. So Alex came upstairs. I think it was between 10:30 and 10:45 sometime. And because I set my alarm. And so he got into bed with Boo Radley, and we were talking and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm going to go to sleep, and I'm going to lay down and then get up and watch my shows. And he was like, okay. So I think I set my alarm for like midnight or something like that. And I was going to watch Cruel Summer and then a couple of the Murder in the Heartlands. But I woke up, I feel like it was, maybe I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe I don't remember. I don't remember right in this moment. But I feel like I woke up before my alarm went off, and I turned my alarm off, and I was like, I'm just going to stay sleeping for the night. And I think I started to fall asleep, and then I woke up like 20 minutes later, and I was like so tired that I like turned my alarm off. I think that's what happened. I don't really remember, honestly. But anyway, I slept straight through the night, and I got a really great night's sleep. And I woke up this morning, and I didn't get up at like 6:30, I usually do, but I got up early and did my prayers and my meditations and had some coffee and stuff. And then I was like, I'm going to sit out here and listen to, because I didn't listen to it last night. I listened to like a little bit of it earlier in the night, but not most of it, The Horrors of Fox Hollow Farms. And so I was like, I'm going to finish listening to this book. And so this morning I sat outside and I finished The Horrors of Fox Hollow Farms and finished it, which it was a good book. Like, I think if you didn't know really much about the case, you'd be interested in it. I did an entire paranormal investigation at the house, and the guy that like led us was the guy that owns the house, who he writes much of the book. I'm going to share my opinions on it if I do a review video on it afterwards. I'm also going to share my opinions in the live stream, because I have quite a few opinions about how this book was written and why it was written. The guy kind of insinuated to us that he bought the house to like have a documentary made. and to like charge people. Like I think we had to pay, I can't remember how much it was like $10 or $20 a person or something like that to do the paranormal investigation. And he kind of wanted to like set this thing up where even though they lived at the house, they would have paranormal investigations come through, and then they would like charge for it. I mean, I think there was like 6 of us that night, so $10 or $20 was not that much, you know, for that. I mean, they stayed, like he kind of like was around us part of the night, but his wife was like up in the bedroom the whole time. Like she would shout down and say stuff to us and stuff. Like they were nice, but I think that he like part of like why they bought the house was because they wanted to like do a documentary or something. I feel like he said something like that to us that night. I haven't watched that documentary, or I haven't watched that vlog in so long. I need to go back and like refresh my memory on it. But so does it surprise me that he ended up writing this book with a paranormal investigator that came out to the house? No, not at all. It doesn't. I didn't like, nothing that they said in the book was anything I didn't know, because the guy that lived in the apartment, he was actually there. He's in my vlog. So if you read the book and you're part of the book club, go watch my vlog. It's my #1 most viewed vlog on my vlog on this channel, and it's called Fox Hollow Farms, and it's where Melissa and Aaron and I went out there and we did the paranormal investigation. The guy that lived in the apartment that they talk about in the book, he was there that night, and he took us through the apartment. We did the I don't even know what it's called, the pendulum thing and the sticks. We did all that in the apartment. They talked about the vortex to hell that was in that closet. They talked about, I think it was in that, no, it was in the bathroom closet in her Baumeister's bathroom. I do remember one thing about that house that was so bizarre, was that the house was like, it didn't even seem like they lived there. Like it was so dusty. It literally looked like no one had been in that house like in years. Like I can remember looking at the bookshelves and looking at the stuff in the bathroom, and like just like looking at the whatever they had on like the bathroom counter and stuff like that, like the bottles of stuff, and it looked like nothing had been touched in that house in like years. And I almost was kind of like, I wonder if they even really live here, or if like they just have this house as like to do whatever they're going to do with it. Like, it just, I don't know. I can remember thinking that it seemed really strange to me. Now, I will tell you, this is kind of a case that, like, I'm intrigued by, because I think I may have been out there at one point, because this person that I saw at a meeting with Tanya said that we went to an after-hours party there. You know, he was also picking up gay men at a bar that I used to go to back in the day. My friend and I watched a documentary on A&E. Like, it happened here, so I've always been very intrigued by this case. I have to tell you, though, that so 2 people have reached out to me in, like, the last 2 months. People reach out to me all the time with new information about it, like personal information that they have about this case, which I'm always like, you need to probably take this to the police. Like, I don't have anything to do with this. Like, I always give them that recommendation. Take it to the police, take it to the FBI. Like, I'm just a YouTuber that's talking about it, right? Like, I don't know anything about it. But I've had 2 people that have reached out to me that I knew in the past. And one of them told me something very, very strange about memories that they had in connection with her Baumeister. The other person told me, like, I don't want to say that, like, it's kind of a scary case, in all honesty, because I think that there were more people that were involved in this situation than they know. Like, the book insinuated that there was, like, an accomplice to the thing that died years ago. I've heard that there were several accomplices to this whole situation, and somebody reached out to me and told me that they had been approached at an event, that somebody knew that they were interested in true crime and that they were from Indiana, and the person approached them and said, I have information on the Herb Baumeister killings, and there was actually, like, there were more people involved in that than you know. Like, it just makes me nervous even talking about it, in all honesty. And they didn't give me any, just so if you're out there watching this and you're thinking I know a lot about it, they didn't give me any names. They have all that information, but they didn't give me any names. They didn't give me any of that information, and they asked me what to do with it, and I told them, I said, you need to turn this over to the FBI, and they said they were going to do that. Which is interesting, because right after that was when they started having cadaver dogs out at the house. But it's kind of like the Delphi case a little bit, which is our book for August. It's like in Indiana, people are so tight-lipped about the Delphi case. I feel like if you talk to somebody about it, it's like 6 degrees of separation. Like, everybody knows somebody that's kind of connected to that case. I don't really know anybody that's connected to it. But I know people that, like, they're like, oh yeah, like, my sister lives in Delphi, or she lives in the next town over, and she said this, this, and this. Or, you know, my friend, or my cousin, or, you know, my good Judy, they know so-and-so from the, you know, that is in law enforcement in Delphi, and this is why they're not, like, releasing any information, and blah, 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 blah. And so it's like, it's kind of scary to talk about it. Like, you kind of stay tight-lipped about it, and, like, a lot of people don't really want to talk about it, because there appears to be many, like, moving pieces behind the scenes that they don't talk about and people are not aware of unless you're, like, very close to the story. I don't know how true that is. I don't know as much about the Delphi case as I know about the Fox Hollow Farms thing. All I know is that many people have reached out to me with similar stories of multiple people being involved in the Herb Baumeister killings, that it wasn't just Herb Baumeister, that he basically had the place where it happened, but it wasn't just him. Now, I will tell you one thing I thought was interesting, that in the book they talked about how many things have been sold that, you know, like people that collect, like, murder memorabilia, which I think is horrible and stuff like that, that they, like, many of the Herb Baumeister belongings have been sold at these kinds of things. But they said in there, but many of the things still are still at the house. And one of the things they mention is the pool hose that, or the pool, whatever it was, I think it was the hose, that was supposedly what Herb Baumeister used to strangle these guys and kill them before he, like, cut them up and took them out into the burn pile. And I remember when we were at the house, the guy that owns the house held up the hose and he said, and this is in my video, I think, and he said, this is the same hose that Herb Baumeister used. And I can remember thinking to myself, if that were true, like, why would the police not confiscate that pool hose if that was the pool hose that Herb Baumeister had used to kill these people? Well, they say it again in the book. And so what it makes you think is, was the investigation not done well by the police? You know, which is further stigmatized because of gay men. It was gay men, and many people at that time didn't really care that it was a lot of gay men that had been killed, right? I think I just read an article that somebody tagged me in that 2 victims have been identified recently and their remains were returned to their family. But, you know, at that time, I can remember that case had a lot of stigmatization around it because people were like, well, who really cares if gay men have gone missing? I mean, you have to remember, this is like around the time of, you know, the AIDS crisis and things like that, where there was a lot of this kind of belief system that gay men deserve to get AIDS because of their lifestyle and that they deserve to die and things. I mean, that whole belief system was very prevalent when I came out in 1990 and years after that. You know, there were still people that believed that, you know? And so the idea that there was a gay serial killer in Indianapolis and that it wasn't getting a lot of attention and these victims weren't getting a lot of attention, I mean, I have to believe to some degree it's because of the fact that the stigmatization of the gay men that were being killed, you know? It's interesting to me that, so this book was called The Horrors of Fox Hollow Farms, and it was written by the owner of the house, and it was written by a paranormal investigator. And like I said, it was like this guy went to the house twice, and he references like ghost hunters and things like that have gone out there. But other than like a Ghost Hunters episode and like The Haunting of Fox Hollow Farms, which is a really low budget documentary that I think is really scary because I'm interested in the case, but it was not well done. Actually, John Lord Nartz is how I found out about him. He's like somebody that covers a lot of true crime documentaries, and he was in the what do you call it, the documentary series on Netflix about the Cecil Hotel. I think he was on that one. He was on some documentary, but I think it was that one. But that was how I found him, and he's always been like a really nice guy to me. I don't know much about him, but he reached out to me, or I reached out to him after I like found his documentary about Fox Hollow Farms. But anyway, there really are no like great documentaries about Herb Baumeister or Fox Hollow Farms and mostly they focus on the paranormal aspect of it, which is interesting. And there aren't that many great books about it. So Mel and I picked this book because we thought it'd be kind of like a different kind of reading for the True Crime Book Club. My friend read a book about Herb Baumeister and was going to join the book club just for this month, and said, oh, I thought you were reading this other book about Herb Baumeister. There's like one other book or two other books, but they're very short. They don't get into like the history of it. My Favorite Murder with those two women, I used to listen to that podcast a lot. They did a live episode about Herb Baumeister. There's been a couple podcasts that have kind of covered the story, but they haven't really done much about it. It's interesting to me that a serial killer that killed, at minimum, at least, 29 gay men in Indianapolis, that was also known as the I-70 killer. They think he killed closer to 36 to 40 men, 36 to 37 to 40 men, something like that in Indianapolis at his house. They think they have the bones for that many, but at minimum of 29. And it was also the I-70 killer that could have killed many people. So you're talking about 40 to 50 people that he murdered, right? And you think about other serial killers that are caught and talked about, like the Zodiac Killer. I just watched that documentary, The Myth of the Zodiac Killer, who I think killed like 6 people, maybe, or something like that, or victimized 6 people. So you think about like how much attention the Zodiac Killer got because of these letters that he wrote allegedly and things like that. And then somebody like Herb Baumeister that killed 30 to 50 men and got like, there's like no discussion about that case or that investigation. And yet it's an ongoing case that there are cadaver dogs out at that farm today. I mean, literally today. I mean, I don't know, I'm not out there today, but like there's been news coverage this week about how they're still investigating and they find bones out there all the time. That was part of the part of the vlog that I did, that they said they find bones out there all the time in the creek and in the woods and stuff like that. They're still finding all of this stuff out there, and yet there's very little known about him, and there's very little that's been written about it. To me, it kind of makes me wonder, are they trying to keep something under wraps? Are there things they don't want people to know because they haven't really closed the investigation yet? That maybe there's an ongoing open investigation behind the scenes that they don't really want people to know? Because what's interesting to me is whenever I get contacted by people that tell me that there's other people that are allegedly part of this whole situation, that's never part of the factual information. Like they talk about it in this book about this guy. They refer to him as something I can't remember. And I remember that from the vlog. Like, they talked about that, too, about this guy, when we were out there. But this isn't what people are talking about when they contact me. In all honesty, like, I kind of, like, read the emails, and I'm always just, like, or the messages I get, and I'm always just, like, you need to contact the police or the FBI. Like, I'm just a YouTuber. Like, I don't do that. I don't, like, really pay it much mind. But it is interesting to me. You know, I'm wondering if there's things that they know behind the scenes that they've never really talked about or covered, you know, that they're trying to kind of keep under wraps, and maybe there's some like open investigation behind the scenes that we're not aware of. I don't know. Like, it's interesting to me that this case is so big and there's never been that much that's been written about it or whatever. I mean, to be honest with you, I watch a lot of true crime documentaries, and although all the stories are sad and traumatic, you think about a guy that was bizarre from childhood, okay, that his dad took him to a psychologist at a young age that diagnosed him with schizophrenia, allegedly, and started one of the largest thrift stores here in Indianapolis, Save-A-Lot, lived on this huge horse farm out in the north side of Indianapolis in Westfield, and Westfield Carmel area, which they called Carmel through the whole audiobook about Killed Me. I'm like, this is not California, it's Carmel, Indiana. That's where I went to high school. Carmel, he kept on saying. But anyway, killed 29 minimum people, all the way to possibly 50, was also the I-70 killer, and there's very little information out about this case. Like, isn't that weird to you? Like, I don't know. Like, I just, you know, even like Last Call, which is on the HBO or is on Max right now, about the gay men that were killed in New York City. Like, that case didn't even have that many men. I think it had like 6 total, or 4 to 6 total men that were killed by the Last Call killer or something, which apparently is a derogatory term from watching the last episode, because basically it insinuated that if gay men hadn't been like trying to pick up people like at last call, that they wouldn't have ended up in that situation. I thought that was interesting. Like, it stopped. I don't remember that being mentioned in the book Last Call, because we read it for a True Crime Book Club. I don't remember them talking about, maybe they did and I just don't remember it, but talking about how that the gay rights organizations in New York City, because the one that they mostly talk about and work with is the New York City Gay and Lesbian Anti-Violence Project. Like the directors of that are like interviewed greatly, and the people that worked for it are interviewed greatly with this, because they were the ones that were trying to solve these cases with the police that were kind of resistant and working with them. Yet again, and this is in the early 90s, this is the same time as the Herb Baumeister situation, because the police were kind of like anti-gay. And so I don't know, it's just interesting to me when you think about the number of people that were killed. In that case, got an entire book that was very well received. I think it was by Elon Green, if I remember what his name was. That was very well received, got great reviews, and now has its own 4-part series that has a lot of historical research in it. And the Herb Baumeister case is like, nobody really ever talks about it. It's crazy to me, you know? You know, and like with the Delphi case, it's like, these are just where my mind goes. You guys are like, this is such a boring vlog. I know, but this is just the things I think about. Right, Boo Radley? He's like, I am so asleep. Don't even bother me. Where's Lady? There's Lady. Lady will keep me company. Won't you, Lady? Look at that. That's where Tucker would like sit here and just pull on her little nose. He'd pull that hair on her nose. But with like the Delphi case, like they arrested that guy, and ever since they arrested that guy, there's been like nothing said about the case. Even though it's still an open investigation, they've released no information, no new information. They haven't released anything else on the girls' phones. Somebody sent me something not too long ago on the Delphi girls, or commented on a video. What was it? And they said, God, who was I talking to the other day? I was either talking to somebody. I feel like this conversation happened in person. I don't know, but I will say this. This is kind of a bizarre situation. I don't remember where that conversation happened. But anyway, I don't know if somebody emailed me or if they commented on a video or if I was talking to them in person. But I feel like it was somebody I was talking to in person. And they said they knew somebody that was involved in law enforcement with the Delphi case. And that the scene at the Delphi situation with those 2 poor girls was horrific. They said that the picture that the police painted of what it was like and what it was actually like were 2 completely different stories. And that it was horrible. So, and I don't want to get into the details of what they said to me because it's too disturbing to talk about on here. But, and like I said, I don't know if that's true, but I will tell you something that's very interesting. And I'll probably share this in the live stream. But when I was listening to the audiobook the other night, like 2 nights ago, of The Horrors of Fox Hollow Farms, I started to look into close people around Herb Baumeister, because I was like, I wonder where some of these people are today, you know, that like friends of his and other things like that. And somebody that popped up is like Melissa, my friend Melissa, who was at Fox Hollow Farms with me. Like, she knows really well. And I was like, this is so bizarre. I was like, so I called Melissa and I said, how do you know this person? And she was like, oh, I know them really well because of blah, 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 whatever. They're so nice and whatever. And I said, do you know that they knew like Herb Baumeister really, really well? And she was like, are you kidding me? And I said, no. And she was like, oh my God, that's so bizarre. She was like, they've never said anything about that. Like, I would never have connected that. And I was like, that's crazy, isn't it? But anyway, I do feel bad, like, there's like this woman in my neighborhood. She like lives down the street. She's really sweet. And she used to work with his wife. And I said, so she knew I was real interested in the case. So actually, her Baumeister grew up, or didn't grow up. He grew up like, they say in the book Butler Tarkington, which is like where my mom grew up. So he grew up like right around the area that my mom grew up. And he went to North Central High School, which is where my cousin went. But he went many years before my cousin did. I think he went in like 1970 or something like that to North Central. Caroline graduated in 87. So like 20 years before Caroline, he went there. But grew up in the same neighborhood that our moms grew up in, Butler Tarkington, which is right around Butler University. But later in life, it must have been like after his dad died, his mom moved right down the street. You guys, there's so many things I want to share, but I'm like, I don't know that I want people knowing that like I know this stuff out there in the world, because I just like, it freaks me out, right? So his mom lived not like in my immediate neighborhood, but like literally I could walk to the house, okay? And it would probably take me 10 minutes. Actually, I did a video on this, I don't know what channel it was on, but I was walking back from voting. If you guys watch that video, you know what I'm talking about. I had voted, and I think I took an Uber there, and I walked home because it was such a short distance, and I walked by a graveyard. Do you guys remember that video? Then on the right-hand side, I showed the graveyard, and I said something about, like, can you imagine if there was a graveyard that was in your backyard and whatever? And I walked by this graveyard. Across the street from that graveyard is actually, and I may have mentioned it in the video, but I don't think I did, is actually where her Baumeister's mom used to live, okay? And she has since passed on, and there's some spooky stories about that house as well that my neighbor told me, because she's always telling me stuff. But she used to work with her, his wife, and she said she was really nice. She said she was super, super sweet, and that like one time she had brought it up or something like that and said, I'm sure you know like the story and whatever. And she's like, yeah, I'm just trying to like move on and live my life and stuff like that. And I think, you know, like she really didn't have any clue when you read the book and you know the story. Like when she started kind of putting the pieces together, she wasn't like one of those wives that was like, oh, I had no clue whatsoever. I mean, she really had no clue. But you also get the sense that she and Herb were not that close. But then when she did know and when she felt like her child was in danger, she called the police immediately and were like, get my son back and you can go. This is all public knowledge. This is all in the book, okay? You can Wikipedia this and all kinds of stuff. So I'm not saying anything that's not known. But anyway, she was like, because her Baumeister had their son at their lake house, and she was like, go get my son. And this is when her Baumeister like left his son and then fled to Canada, where he like took his life. Which apparently he had all these videos. I mean, I knew this before because I watched it in the documentaries and stuff. But he apparently had all these videotapes in the backseat of his car, and he got pulled over by the police, and the police saw the videotapes in his car. But when they found him the next day, his car, nowhere near him or in the car were the videotapes. And so he must have dumped them somewhere, or the accomplice had them. If there was an accomplice, and they found, like, took the videotapes. But apparently they think that the videotapes might have had, that he might have been recording, like, the killings on the videotapes and stuff like that. He might have had hidden cameras. But what was I going to say? So anyway, when she finally kind of put two and two together and was like, yeah, something's going on, she called the police and was like, you can come out here and you can search the property. Up to that point, she had said no. But she was like, absolutely, you can search the property as much as you want. You can, whatever you want to do with it, whatever. And she's tried to kind of like stay out of all of it since then, and she doesn't want anything to do with the story or anything like that, which I totally highly respect. I mean, I've only heard from people that have known her. I mean, I've met several people that have known her. Like I said, I was at the pool the other day, and somebody was like, yeah, he was my softball coach because one of his kids was on my team or whatever, and said that he was really weird, but said that the wife was really nice. Everybody always says that she's like super nice and whatever. I feel bad for like the families of these people, you know, like, we read the BTK killer's daughter's book a couple years ago, which was so bizarre because she wrote this book, and like I would say 80% of it, and I was not the only one that thought this. I mean, the whole book club thought this. 80% of the book was about this hike that she went with with her dad, and how, I mean, it was just like, I was like, honey, like, your focus, it's like, you're painting this picture of your dad that is like, I mean, he was a BTK killer, okay? Like, I think people are reading this book because they want to know about your relationship with the BTK killer as your father. They're not really wanting to read the book because they want to hear, 200 pages about this hike that you took with your dad, okay? All this kind of stuff. It's just kind of like she missed the mark a lot on the book. But I do think that it would be really, really hard. I mean, I've read like the stories of other people, not the books, but stories about other people that have been like family members of serial killers and stuff. Who was I was watching a video about somebody just not too long ago, and they were like, oh yeah, like, it was like somebody's kid. I can't remember who it was, and they were like, oh, 100%, like, it doesn't surprise me, and he was like not a good dad, and I don't stand behind anything that he did, and I'm so embarrassed to be associated with it, and our whole family's been affected by it. I do feel really, really bad for the families that are, associated with it, or like the employees of like the store that he used to work with or own and things like that. Like, I mean, it's not like they asked to be involved in all this stuff. It's not like his wife, or kids or family members or, whatever. I don't know. I think that we immediately go to that and think, she said something in the book, or they said something in the book about she felt like she was a victim too, and I think we don't talk about that often. It's like we immediately, I mean, we have talked about that in the True Crime Book Club, but like I think immediately, like in society, like we think there must be something weird about the family, or the close friends of these people that live these very, I mean, most of them are, have major serious, obviously if they're serial killers, they're having like, major issues and are keeping their lives really, really secretive from people, and somebody even commented and said something the other day about, what was it I was watching? I think it was Murder in the Heartland. It wasn't a comment on a video. It was like Murder in the Heartland. Somebody said, you always hear about these people about how they're so nice and you can never believe that they would do these things, and then you turn around and you find out who they really are, and you don't really know some people sometimes. And I thought, God, that is so true when you hear about these people, right? So I think it's unfair from a societal point of view that we like immediately want to think that there's something weird about the family or not let them move on with their lives, when I think that they have every right to do that and not be associated with that. Just it wasn't their fault that Herb Baumeister, was such a sick person and took all these people's lives and things like that. I did think it was interesting, though, that they mentioned that in his letter that he left behind, that he said something about there only being one bullet in the gun because he didn't want a kid to come along and, like, find the gun with a bullet in it. And they even made reference to it and talked about it and said that something to the effect of, it's interesting that, like, how much harm he did to these people. Like, it almost made you speculate, well, was it Herb that did it? Or were there other people involved? Like, this was the one thing that, because I knew that from people contacting me, that made my wheels turn. Because they said, it's interesting that he, having done all of this damage to these people, right? Like, he, like, not damage, like, I mean, he killed these people. He murdered, at least 29 people. Having killed 29 people, I can't remember how they said it in the book, but they said, like, but, like, his morals didn't go so low that he would risk the life of a child or something like that. And I thought that was kind of an interesting perspective. I thought, well, that's, like, you're talking about somebody that's obviously has some sense of empathy then, right? And knows that what they're doing is wrong. They also talk about the medium in the book, or the paranormal, like, I think he talks to a medium, or he does talk to a medium, and the medium's like, Herb Baumeister feels bad about, like, what he did and all this kind of stuff, and is glad that there's, like, peace and serenity and, joy and some kind of closure at Fox Hollow Farms at this point and whatever. And that he, like, really struggled, and he didn't want to continue doing these things, but he couldn't stop. Like, they talk about that in the book as well. But, yeah, like I said, I don't feel like the family members should ever be, like, scrutinized, but I think it's, who was I, like, looking into the other day? It was like a big serial, it was like somebody that, like, we talk about a lot. Not like it was like a Ted Bundy, Zodiac killer kind of person. I can't remember who it was. I was looking at something, I was, like, reading their Wikipedia page, and it mentioned something about, like, their wife or something like that. And I was like, God, who was it? I can't even remember now. it was something I was watching, and they talked about somebody I was talking. They referenced somebody in their life. Anyway, I don't know. It's also sad, isn't it? So tonight, oh, Alex is having dinner with a girlfriend that he hasn't seen in a while. So he's having dinner with her tonight at 6 o'clock. And they're going to Sangiove's, which is like this Italian restaurant. He asked me if I wanted anything, and I almost was going to have him bring something, but I'm starting to get kind of hungry now. So I am going to use my small credit that I have on DoorDash to order some food, but I am going to also call Piata to make sure that my order is correct. I'm also going to tell them that my order has been incorrect several times on there, because I think they need to know that. And then I'm going to, if I don't lay down and take a little bit of a nap, then I'm going to start trying to get into Low Country Boil. I'm really excited about reading that book because so many people have said it's good. I can't believe I finished like 2 books in like 2 days or 3 days or something like that. And then tonight I want to watch Cruel Summer. This is Thursday going into Friday. Why do I feel like a new show comes out tomorrow? Oh, the season finale of The Crowded Room comes out at midnight. I'll definitely be watching that. Last week's episode was good. I'm really ready to finish that season, that show though. I don't think it's gonna be more than 1 season. God, I hope not. I don't know that I can watch another season of it. I think it's a limited series, but I'm gonna finish that tonight. If they do like some cliffhanger and they turn it into like this more than 1 season, I'm gonna be like, I can't do this. I won't be watching it probably again. Yeah, time and date stamp that, because then watch a year from now, I'll be like, I can't wait till The Crowded Room is coming out to find out what happens next, because that's what always happens. I get so let down with these shows, and then of course I have to watch the next one that comes out. So I'm going to watch The Crowded Room when it comes out at midnight, if I end up staying up that late. And then I'm going to watch Cruel Summer, because I haven't watched this week's episode yet, and it came out like on Monday. And then I'm going to watch an episode or 2 of Murder in the Heartland, and then I'm going to get into Low Country Boil, which I'm excited about. And that's what I'm going to do tonight. Finished all my laundry yesterday, folded all my laundry, folded all the towels, made the bed today, did a bunch of stuff, made videos on my Peter Monn channel, my drama channel, and my Peterisms channel, my review channel, my Peter Does Stuff channel, and this channel. I made 5 videos today. And when I said I was going to take a day off, I don't know, depending on the weather tomorrow, if it's nice tomorrow, I might go to the pool and take tomorrow off. We'll see. Because I was going to have this appointment, but the appointment was early. It was at 11, which means I would have had to have left here at 10, but it wasn't going to be a long appointment, so I would have been done in time. And I would have been done early enough that I would have been home by like 1, so I think 1 or 2, I still could have gone to the pool if it was nice tomorrow. But I don't know if it's going to be. He does not care for toys. He is so not bothered by. Lady! I see your little ear popping up there, Boo Radley. Hi, Boo Radley. We don't have like big plans this weekend. We're having dinner with our neighbors on Sunday. We're having dinner with our neighbors next to me now, at their house, and then our neighbors on the corner are coming too. So that'll be fun. She's like all worried about what to make. She's like, I'm gonna make some. I said, I can eat, like, she's like, I'm gonna make a salad. I said, I can eat a salad and a side. You do not need to cook special for me. She's like, no, I want to make something special for you because you're a vegetarian. I said, I can bring something. Don't worry about it. I can bring like hummus and chips and stuff like that. Just like nibble on, you know, or like have as a little snack. I said, you don't have to worry. She's like, no, I'm gonna make you something special as a vegetarian. I was like, okay. So, you know, I don't like brownies, but I have to say, she made these brownies for this like dinner that they did for our neighborhood a while ago, and her brownies were like one of the only brownies. They had like caramel or something in them too, or butterscotch chips or something, but they were like one of the only brownies that I really have liked. So yeah, that's my day. It's been a good day. It's been a good summer so far. I can't believe we're like only halfway through the summer. It's so quiet. I love the quiet. I used to like, when I started making videos on YouTube on a pretty regular basis, I used to like always have like the TV on in the background, and I would like have some movie going on, and then like I would mute it or pause it like while I was filming and whatever. But like when I wasn't filming, I would always have like a movie. I would just like constantly like go into like on demand and pick up movies or Netflix or whatever, you know, or Tubi or, you know, HBO Max or whatever it was at the time. I go into, you know, one of those things and just like pick out a movie. I never do that anymore. But I think it's Shark Week. I keep on seeing this come up on my different apps that it's Shark Week. So I should go in and watch some like shark movies. Now y'all know like sharks are my biggest fear in the entire world. But I also am super intrigued, and I love to watch like scary movies about sharks. So maybe I'll do that. I feel like I've seen the Jaws movies so many times that I don't necessarily want to watch Jaws. I'm like looking in the closet, and all my sneakers are like down here on this end of the closet, and I have these black Nike Airs that I bought like a couple years ago for Ultra or something, and I've worn them like 2 or 3 times, and I completely forgot that I had them. And they're like such cute shoes. They're like all black. These like I forgot that I had them. I have like 4 or 5 pairs of Vans I can see, some high tops, some low tops. In the summer I wear Birkenstocks so much. I actually brought out another pair of Birkenstocks when I went with Caroline the other day. I brought out my camouflage Birkenstocks. I usually wear when I go out places now, I usually wear the tan ones that I bought this summer, the suede ones. But I have these like, I don't think they're leather, I think they're nubuck, and they're camouflage, and they're super comfortable. And so I wore those the other day. I'm looking down here. We still have like all these DVDs on top of our DVD player, which we never play. I mean, why would you when you can stream anything anymore, right? And somebody years ago, I think it was for my birthday, bought me this. It was my friend's girlfriend, and they both knew that I loved Alfred Hitchcock, and she bought me the Alfred Hitchcock, the Masterpiece Collection, and it literally has every Alfred Hitchcock movie in it that was ever made. And I have the entire DVD set. Alex and I, a couple years ago, we started watching them because he was like, I know you love these, we should watch them. And we watched The Man Who Knew Too Much with, I think it was, is that with Doris Day? And then we watched Rear Window with Jimmy Stewart and Grace Kelly. Alex and Thelma Ritter. Oh my God, she plays the nurse. I love her so much. We watched that. He loved that. And what was his name that played Harry Mason? Raymond Burr. He's in it. He plays the killer. Alex really liked that one. We watched The Birds a couple years ago on his birthday, and it was so funny because like Carlitos and Sebastian and Liliana and Carlos and Alex's mom and grandma and stuff were all over here for it, and we put the big screen up and everything. And I was telling Carlitos at the beginning of the movie, I said Alfred Hitchcock always shows it. I don't know if you know this or not, but like in every Alfred Hitchcock movie, Alfred Hitchcock's always in like the opening scene. Like, you have to look for him. Like, in The Birds, like, he's coming out of a store when she's, like, walking in or walking by it. He's, like, coming out of the store. But he's always, like, in one of the opening scenes. Like, you have to look for him, right? It's kind of like this thing that he used to do. My mom and I used to always look for him in movies and stuff. Or in his movies. But anyway, I said that at the beginning of the movie. I was telling Carlitos that, and we must have missed him coming out of the store or whatever, because like through the whole movie, it was so funny because Carlitos kept on turning around. He goes, "Is that Alfred? Is that Alfred?" There'd be like all these people in the movie The Birds, and he'd be like, "Is that Alfred?" I'd be like, "That's not Alfred." Alfred Hitchcock. It's not Alfred. That's not him. Nope. And he'd be like, "Is that Alfred?" I'd be like, "Nope, that's not Alfred." Alfred. Boo Radley, what do you think of the world, honey? He sleeps so calmly. Should we go say hi to Boo Radley? Let's go say hi to Boo Radley. Hold on. Boo Radley, we're coming to say hi. Do you want to say hi to the people? He said hi, people. Oh, look at me and little Boo Radley. He said, hi, Dad. You showing everybody your tongue? Cousin Caroline loves your tongue, doesn't she? She said, Boo Radley has the cutest tongue in the whole world that he can't keep in his mouth because he has no teeth. He said, okay, I don't know. This is too close for comfort. Oh, you gotta shake it out. He said, I think I'm gonna lay down over here. Don't worry about me. I'm my own person. Well, listen, you guys, I'm gonna get off here now. But thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for hanging out with me and Boo Radley. We had a good evening. And I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Thursday. Better get ready because the weekend's right around the corner. It's coming up tomorrow. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And hold on a second. Boo Radley, we're going to put it on the tripod. And if nobody else has told you this, okay, first of all, I hope that you're having a magically amazing Thursday and that you're getting ready for the weekend. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you, and Boo Radley loves you. He's like, this is too much for me. He's like, look, he's stretching out. He's like, this is way too much for me. And if nobody else has told you this today, oh, I already did that part. Also, what's the next thing that I say? See, I could just fall asleep right here. Oh, I love our bed so much. I got these sheets at Target. Look at them. You can get them at Target too. We had white ones at our condo that we stayed at in Florida, and that's how I found them and bought them. I can't remember what they're called. Threshold or something like that. They're so nice. And with the sheets, you also get pillow shams, sheets, pillow shams, and top sheet, bottom sheet, pillow shams, pillowcases, and a comforter. And it's all for like $45 or something like that. Maybe $60. I don't remember, but we now have them in white and we have them in gray. Also, remember these three very important things. Oh, he's digging in the blanket. Are you finding your place, buddy? Remember these three very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Is he coming behind me? What are you doing then, huh? Are you being a silly boy? What are you doing? Boo Radley. Say, I know my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. Do you remember that song? And also, okay, wait. You can start your day over whenever you want, or your week if you need to. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Oh, he's smelling the camera right now. Like I always say, yeah, sorry, bless you. Sorry, bless you. And 3, like I always say, oh wait, reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Like I always say, oh, thank you, sweetheart. You might be putting a smile on their You might, like I always say, you might be putting a smile, like I always say, you might be putting a smile on their face. You might be changing their day for the better. You might be making them feel happier, and you might just be cheering them up. You don't know. And also, be kinder to one another. Love one another a little bit more. And most importantly, be kinder and love yourselves a little bit more. Why? Because it all starts with you. And you got to love yourselves and be kinder to yourselves so that you can pass it on and be kinder and love others as well. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Bye. Boo Radley says bye too. Love ya.